Hello, guys. How you all doing?
Doing good.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Great, thank you. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing wonderful. I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Okay. Now let's start. Yeah, glad everybody's back in one piece, and right, you staying safe and not jeopardize yourself. Remember, you are, like I said, I say you're gonna be rich very soon, and you definitely want to enjoy the money. Don't get sick by being careless.
No.
Yeah, that's right.
We're
Oh,
trying our best.
that's absolutely
Leave
right.
everything to God.
I pray for every one of you to be safe. Okay, so now we saw the pre-class brain teaser, right? Which some of you already, you know, I think it's a piece of cake, right? And this is our standard Sunday pre-class brain teaser, and we're gonna look at the first one, right? This is it. This is the first one. Now, what do you think about that, folks? What do you think? It says that what is the bandwidth illustrated, right? What is the bandwidth illustrated in, it says in what? In megabytes per second. Now, but what are you seeing? What is, now the bandwidth is displayed in what? What's the measuring unit for that bandwidth? As you see it as,
Megabit per second.
Megabits per second.
okay, so that's megabits per second, right? Just like you can see right there, megabits per second. And so now we are told, yes, well, so that's megabits per second that's being shown right there, right? So if we go closer to it, let me bring it. You can see right there, megabits per second. And if we were to, they say we should try to change this, right? We should change this and make it, see what it is in megabytes per second, right? So that's what it's saying. Now, so this is displayed in megabits per second, and they want us to switch it, to change it to megabytes per second. So now let's go back again and look at it. So first of all, if we take a look at this, now let me, okay. So if we look at this now, what is this one right here?
Download.
That is the download speed, right? That's the download speed, and you can see it is saying that it is 8.6, right? 0 watt, megawatt, megabits per second. And what's this? This one is what? That is the upload speed, and we already know it is 25.44 megabits per second. Okay, but now, so we have to now convert this into megabytes per second. Now, this is an actual bandwidth that I got when I ran this thing today. When I was upstairs in my house, and apparently I was not getting a lot of speed, because if you look at the download speed, that's really small. That is really small. So if we were to do the maths right here, now we already know that 8 bits, right, equal to what?
1 byte.
1 byte. And then 1 bit equal to what?
0.125.
All right, geniuses. All right, so now 8.6 times 0.125 will give us how many bytes? That's what we will get in bytes.
0.075.
All right, well, let's do the maths. So it is 8 point, well, let me see. Let's just do the math so we all are on the same page. I get my little technology. 0.125, right? And so that's what we have right there. See that? 1 1.075. 1.075. So if we go back and look at right here, I was getting 1.075 megabytes per second up there, which was kind of slow. I mean, I don't think I can even watch. If I was to watch a Netflix movie with this system, and also try to watch like a YouTube video at the same time, it would have been terrible, right? I don't think the bandwidth would have been good enough. Now, with the same, what do you think this one will be like for megabytes? And just do the math and tell me. What do you think this one will?
3.18.
3.18 megabytes per second.
Megabytes.
Okay, so now, we see that for download speed is really small, right up there. But the upload, if I was to upload something to YouTube or a video, it will upload way faster, though 3.18 is no big deal still. But if I was downloading stuff, let's say I was trying to watch a Netflix movie and then watch a YouTube video, then I will have a problem, because of this bandwidth. And again, bandwidth, this was with my wireless laptop. Bandwidth at your home can fluctuate based on where you are at home, right? So based on where you are, it can fluctuate. So if you are closer to the router, you get better bandwidth right there, right? If you're closer, every time you're closer to your router, because it's radio wave, the wave is stronger closer to the layer 3 switch or the wireless router. So if you check your bandwidth, and this is an experiment that you should do, grab your system, take it down to where your router is, and just test your bandwidth right there, and then take your laptop further away from your router and try to do a speed test, and you will see the difference. The further away you go, the lower the numbers will be for download and upload. So that's how it is. So if you're ever trying to download something from the internet and you have an opportunity to bring your system closer to your router, that will help you even better. So these are the kind of things that you should be thinking about, right? All right, now let's look at the next one, which, I think that one was quite interesting. I think that was the creme de la creme for today. This is it right here. Let's look at it. Look at all of those. All right. So now this, first of all, what kind of cable is this?
Internet.
This is an Ethernet cable. And what kind of CAT cable?
Cat 8.
It says Cat 8, and it says it right there, and you can see it. It says Cat 8, and you can see it right there. And now, CAT, what does CAT stand for to start with?
Category.
Stands for category 8, right? Category 8, which is the latest one. And if we look at this picture again, you can see it says it right there. And then the question, now it says, the first question says, what connector? What is the name of the connector, this one? What is the name of this connector that's on here?
RJ45.
That's an RJ45 male port, right? So that's an RJ45 male port. And what does RJ stand for, folks?
Registered jack.
It stands for registered jack 45. Registered jack 45. So it's an RJ45 male port. And again, then the second question right there, it says, what is the maximum speed of data flow through this cable in megabits per second? Megabits per second. What is it? So again, now the speed for this port in megabits per second is 40 gigabits per second. That's 40 gigabits per second. And if we take 40 times 0.25 for megabytes, what are we going to get with this?
5.
That's 5, right? So it will be 5 gigabit. Well, actually, with a uppercase B, Gigabits per second. So this is the conversion rate. If we're looking at gigabytes, so 40 gigabits per second, which is the max speed for this cable, will become 40 gigabytes per second. Right. Okay, so now let's look at this one. What is the medium of data transmission through this cable? The medium.
Copper wire.
That is copper wire, right? So that's copper wire, that's it. Now let me just make sure everybody can see that, right? So that's it, copper wire. And how about this one right here? What is the mode of transmission?
Electrical signal.
Electrical signal. Electrical signal. Smart. Electrical signal. Now, where does the electricity come from?
Router.
The NIC. It comes from the NIC, the Ethernet NIC, right? Or, yeah, so now, how about this one? Can this cable be used in your homeland?
Yes.
Yes.
As it is right now?
No.
No.
This is it, no. Now, who can explain why I just said no? Why is it no? Why can't you use it?
I don't know. Because what will happen?
Well, let me put it this way, folks. Let me put it this way, okay? Now, I said no, right? But the answer is no and yes.
I see.
Now,
Useless.
okay, well, yeah, of course. Now, look, the no means that what your ISP has set up for you right now as we speak is gigabit network, right? So you probably have 1,000 base T network, which is what everybody has. And we already know the speed, right? So if you have a gigabit router at home, which of course would transmit up to 1 gigabit per second, then you need gigabit cable, right? You need what kind of cable would be good for your home? I mean, to be efficient as possible. Now let's look at efficiency. Well, Cat 5e and Cat 6 will be the best cables, right? Cat 5e and Cat 6. But if you're gonna use Cat 8, that's overkill. You're gonna spend a lot of money to get the cable, and the cables will not really be necessary, because the maximum data flow that you can get is 1,000 gigabits per second. But then you have a cable that can take up to 40 gigabits per second, and that is not efficient. So yes, data will still flow through it, but it's what we call overkill. It's a waste of your money, right? You're still gonna get just 1 gigabit flowing in through that. You're not gonna get 40 gigabits. So if you were thinking, I will get 40 gigabit, let me go out there and replace all of my cables, then it will not work until you replace your switch and your router. And even if you replace your switch and your router, you're going to get data, that type of speed within your LAN, not from the internet. Because what comes down from the internet is directly related to the bandwidth that you're paying for from the ISP.
Okay, I said presently I have a router with 4 ports.
Okay.
I'm using wireless connection right now.
Correct.
I have a router with 4 ports.
With 4 ports,
so
right.
One of them, yeah, you remember I told you earlier today. One of them, I use my cable to connect to it. It's working perfectly well. But my question now is, the 3 other ones, if I have like 5 other systems, the present 3 that I have, and I want to connect all of them together to make it a perfect LAN, am I to use a normal switch to do the extension, or am I to buy another layer 3 switch? No,
you can use a regular switch. Like you saw the switch that I showed you guys, right? Remember the standard switch that I showed you, the one that said gigabit on it? It was a 5-port switch, right? You can go to the store, get yourself a 5-port switch, and just hook it on one of those ports, and that's it. You've extended your network. And you can connect other devices. Just make sure the switch is connected to one of the ports on your layer 3 switch, and you should be good to go. Right. So yeah, of course, you don't need another layer 3 switch for it to work. In fact, if you instead try to connect layer 3 switch, it will become complicated, because then you have to go into it and then change the IP address to match, which stuff we do in networking, you're not there yet. It will be complicated. So regular switch, 5-port switch from the store will work just fine. Once you understand things like this, you don't have privacy. A systems admin does not have privacy. What does that mean? It means that if you work as a computer analyst or IT professional, at some point they will monitor you, right? They will, even when you start to work, they give you a computer. They'll give you a work computer, and that computer has monitoring devices planted in it, and they will tell you that. So when you're filling out your paperwork, especially when you're working for a high security company or for the government, they will hand over your laptop and they'll say, well, go ahead and fill out and sign this paperwork and give it to us. So you got to sign this before you get your laptop. And on there, it usually will say that while using this laptop, you can be monitored through the camera or the microphone, and they can monitor your activity. Most of the time, we're so happy with the offer letter, we don't even read. Right? we just sign. And then you see there, they'll say, do not block the webcam. That's what it will say that in bold. So you're at home, and they can monitor. Your boss can say, hey, look, so how was your day? Fine, sir. Were you sitting there working? Yes, I'm sitting here working. And you know you're not sitting right there working. You're at the mall. And then he says, wait a minute, but there's nobody sitting in front of your computer. And you're like, oops, right? Or he might say, come sit in front of your computer, let's talk. And you say, okay, so can I call you back in 10 minutes? You know you're not sitting. You know you were somewhere out there at the grocery store. Right. That's, so, Justin Okafor, go ahead with your question. Justin.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
I was going to ask about RAM stick. You showed us the face. It has double side, and you were fixing it on a particular face. So, how about when someone turns it the opposite? Does it still work? Or
no, the way things are set up, it is set up so that, you mean like when you put it on the motherboard, where you install it?
You put it on the motherboard.
Yes.
It has two faces, right?
Yes. So when
and you are placing it on a particular face, facing this side, or like where something was written. How about the opposite side? If you let
me just show you. Let me answer the question by illustrating. Right now, let's look at this. All right. So let me go back and look at the RAM sticks. All right. So now so you see this RAM stick right here, right? You can see the groove right here. Now, if you noticed, this end, after this little groove right here, this end is shorter than this one. This one is longer. Now, if you look at the slot on the motherboard, it's the same, right? You can see right here, this is the shorter end, this is the longer end. Now, if I try to install this, see, if I put it this way, and you see how that groove, it just fits in place. If you notice, if I show you, look at that. Everything just fits in place, right? I just press it down and it snaps in. Okay, now let me flip it around. All right, let me flip it around. Now watch this. Watch this. Does it fit? Like, just look at the groove. Look at they set the whole thing. You see that? Look. You see? Look at the groove right here. It will not go because the other part of it that is on the slot is down this way. Okay. So it will not work. They do it in such a way that you cannot install memory the other way around. It has to be installed this way, and they set it up so that if you're putting it the opposite way, it will not work. So once I put it, everything matches, and then it falls. If it just it fits in place. Right? Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. So I just wanted to ask, the regular computers and Mac, is there anything different in this regard, like facing the this kind of stuff?
Well, the thing with Mac computers is that Mac, especially today, they have their components right there. They are called proprietary, right? Proprietary is that now the way Apple computers are set up now, they make in such a way that very few components are FRUs, if at all there's any. The new Mac systems don't have FRUs anymore. You cannot upgrade anything. You cannot change your hard drive. You cannot. That's what they do. They don't want you. They want you to just spend the money and get stuff. They don't want you to buy stuff for cheap and then have to upgrade it. So that's how Mac. So the Mac systems are different, which is a problem with a lot of people. I know a lot of folks are complaining about that, and I don't know why they don't make it in a way that it's easy for you to upgrade the system if you don't like the specs that it comes with, right? I don't know why they don't do that. So they just want to make money. That's all. All right. They don't. Okay. So now let's keep going.